Hey guys! So it's Valentine's Day where I live, even though in, I guess, the rest of the world it passed because I keep on seeing all these Valentine's Day videos, even though it's nowhere near Valentine's Day where I am. So, since I am alone, the rest of the world apparently celebrated Valentine's Day without me. I decided to go ahead and put up probably the weirdest video I will ever put up. My top 10 favorite anime guys, crushes, husbandos, whatever video. I hope you enjoy my embarrassment. Number 10. Satoru Fujinuma. I love his character so much. Even though he is very new, or at least his character is very new to me because I'm only an anime watcher, hence why he's so low on this list. Satoru is a very methodical and well thought out character. Everything he does, he tries to make sure has a purpose with his goal, and being goal-oriented is something that a lot of anime characters have. For example, Naruto or Monkey D. Luffy. But with Satoru, it feels a bit more mature. He's not being brash about it or yelling it at the top of his lungs every 5 seconds. Instead, it is something that he does quietly, but with this passion and vengeance that really takes your breath away. And I think it's this maturity that really has me every time he's on screen. He has the mind of a 29-year-old, and that is something that I love. A lot of the times you have these teenage characters who either have too much angst or they don't think things through. With Satoru, he thinks things through. He does what he needs to do. He understands what he needs to do it, or at least the adult way to go about doing it, which is something, like I said, I love. It's that maturity. I love it. I just love that maturity so much. Number 9.
It's time for us to begin. So, we will start with vocal exercises.
I think Sebastian is on everyone's list. Male or female, everybody loves him. He's a badass, he's suave, and most importantly, he gets the job done. Whether it's cleaning or cooking, he can do it because he's just one hell of a butler. I don't think I need to put another reason. Oh, he has an awesome English dub. That's more than qualifying on any list. Number 8. Seppuku Nogata. How do I put this? I am not very active in the Naruto community. I used to watch it when I was younger, and then I drifted away once it started to end. But then I come back every once in a while, and I think I am almost past the capturing the Kazekage arc. I am not that far in this show. But every time I go back, I always go back to Gaara. He has a very interesting character design. His backstory is also very interesting, but one thing that I love about him is his character development. No matter how often I go back to the series and read up more on him, his character development never goes backwards. He always progresses as a character. He always has new goals, new thoughts. He's not like a certain Uchiha where every time you turn around, he seems to be going one step back in his character development, becoming more brattier and more powerful, yes, but his personality hasn't changed much. With Gaara, his personality changed over time, which I absolutely adored. Having solid character development is something that every character should have in a series. And having a side character, an awesome side character at that, having such good character development, becoming an even better character as far as him being on the good side. I'm trying not to do too much spoilers for those who are not in the series or that far along in the series. But I really do love his character development, and that is probably the main thing that has me attracted to Gaara as a character. That and his awesome eyes. I mean, seriously, he has probably the best colored eyes I have ever seen in anime. Number 7. Okay, so I know I already did a video saying that I did like Levi, so that's not a surprise to you. It's not a surprise that he's on this list, but I never exactly said why I liked him. I kind of hinted at the comments why, but I never actually said it. So here's, real quick, my 3 reasons. 1, he's a badass. 2, he's dominant, and I love dominant guys. And 3, I would not have realized this if it wasn't thanks to Chinchinashi Sakamaki, but he cleans. And that's probably why I like Sebastian, too. Now, I know it's stereotyping saying guys never clean, but I live in a house with 3 brothers and a dad. They never clean. So having guys that like to clean, or at least do clean, is a dream come true. And that's probably why he's on this list. It's cleaning. Thank you, Chinchinashi Sakamaki. You explained the world to me. Number 6. Issei Hyodo. And I probably said that wrong. You know when you sit there and people are talking about their favorite anime and everyone says these cool, awesome, or well-respected anime like Attack on Titan or Evangelion. Then you have that one person who says Boku no Pico and everyone stares at them. I feel like the same thing happens when I say I like Issei. Issei is awesome, in my opinion. How many male characters in anime do you know that are perverts who actively seek out girls who fling themselves at them? Not many. And that is probably the main reason why I love Issei so much. He's a pervert and he's not afraid to own it. I mean, all these girls throw themselves at him and he is more than happy to receive. And that is just amazing to me. And it seems really stupid. I mean, it seems really stupid. But I find that so entertaining. And I love watching it. His last thoughts when he was dying was that the chick who killed him should have at least shown off her tits. And then he decided he would love to die with touching some other girl's tits. You have my respect, man. And if I could give you a bro fist or whatever is cool at the moment among young people, I would give it to you. In the sacred words of Lance from Fine Game Bitches. Titty all day, every day. Number 5.
起こして悪い。
どうしたの？
さっき俺の部屋の明かり、日和の親父に消されたんだよ。なんか暗いとさ、落ち着かなくて。
Let's jump off of our perverted track to something far more adorable. Yukine. I love Yukine. He is such an adorable character. I really love his character design. The colors that the artists use was absolutely perfect. It balances each other wonderfully and it doesn't hurt the eye with all that yellow and the bright reds. But the thing I love most is the character development. Yukine starts out as this brat and he eventually evolves into someone more mature who has some priorities but also realizes he can lean on the people around him. And that is what I love, seeing him grow as a character. And that is probably one of the main things that drives me in general to the type of characters I like, is character development. And Yukine is far less extreme than Gaara, but in a way it's far more saddening. He starts out dead, and he realizes how alone he is. But then he begins slowly realizing that he's not so alone. He has Hiyori, he has the Regalia, and he has Kyoto, his god. And so it just makes you feel all warm inside, realizing that he has a place within this new world that he finds himself in. And that's probably one of the main reasons why I love Yukine so much. He makes me smile. Oh, and he's super adorable, but he also makes me smile. 4. I'll be honest, I do not like this character in the way I like the other characters. It is more hate that drives me towards Kuki Yuri, and I'm probably saying that so wrong, but it doesn't matter because I hate this character so much that it mutated into like. One thing I love about Yuri's character is that about 80% of his dialogue is actually in his head. he could be saying something to you, and either A, he means the exact opposite, or B, he is only telling you about 10% of whatever is actually supposed to be said. Everything else is just insults or wondering why on earth you're talking to him, or why he's not getting promoted. Mostly the latter. And I hate his character so much. He puts his other teammates at risk, he puts himself at risk, he's so selfish and stupid. And yet he fails, and I love that he fails. Watching him fail at life really makes me happy. Because, you know, there's a lot of characters in Tokyo Ghoul that you just straight up hate within the first 5 seconds. Ayato is probably one of the main characters. As soon as he opened his mouth, English or Japanese dub, I hate him. I don't even know why, I just hate him. Same thing with Tsukiyama. I hate his guts too. And it doesn't matter how much character development any of these characters get. I still hate him. But with Kyuri, he is lucky enough to sit there and be entertaining in his failings. And thus, that's why I love him. I love watching him fail at life. That sounds terrible, but if you sit down and read Ri, you will understand. On a side note, I'm not quite sure how they're going to sit there and do all of his animation parts where he does dialogue, considering how much is actually up in his head in the middle of a conversation. That's going to be really interesting, and I cannot wait to see them try to pull that off. Number 3. I love Hetalia. It combines 2 of my favorite things, history and anime. So by throwing those 2 together, of course, I have to have at least one guy from this particular series in my list. And the guy I choose is Prussia. Now, as much as I love the Nordic countries, and as much as I love England, I think Prussia takes the cake. He's a very funny and interesting character in the fact that a lot of the times he seems like an idiot, and he seems like nothing but comic relief. But if you sit down and you see the more serious parts of history and the way that it could be portrayed, and especially when it slowly shows those and hints at it within the strips, you begin realizing that maybe it's all a facade that Prussia puts on. Maybe he's not so stupid as he seems. Maybe, just maybe, he is awesome. And then he opens his mouth and you realize, no, he's just an idiot. But the way he juggles his idiocy and his seriousness is really cool and interesting, and something that I love to see every time he's on screen. Also, he cleans. That is slowly becoming a running theme throughout this video. In fact, why don't we change this from my top 10 favorite anime guys to my top 10 wannabe manservants? That would probably make more sense at this rate. Number 2. Livius. Okay, I'm not going to even pretend. His name is Livius because I cannot pronounce the rest of his name. So, Livius reminds me of CL in a lot of ways, but what CL doesn't have is probably the fact that I just like this anime more. Oh, and the fact that he's a yandere, but we'll get to that later. As a character, Livius is very interesting. He has family issues. He has to run an entire government because his dad died and he decided to conquer the world. And he also decided to sit there and get married to some rain priestess. Kind of, not really. So, in general, the plot is really interesting that he has put himself in purposely. And that is probably what makes me like him so much. He purposely puts himself in certain situations that most people, especially at his age, wouldn't even bother trying to throw himself into. And the way he juggles it is so good and interesting and makes me want to watch more of his escapades. And also the fact that his mind is basically breaking down this entire time. While you think that the love story would build him up, in reality all he's doing is crumbling beneath the stress and the impulses. It is fun watching him throw himself basically fall apart. Not in the same way with Yuri, where I want to see him absolutely die or something. I want to see what Livius does with this, considering how calculating and cruel he can be. I want to see how this helps his character along. So, am I a sadist? Number 1. I think this entry both answers and makes me question if I'm a masochist as well. I love Juzo. I do not know why I love Juzo so much, but it probably has to do with his character design and the fact that he has some amazing character development. This guy starts out absolutely insane, and then he slowly progresses as the story goes along, and you don't even see that much progression in the very first story. It takes some serious stuff for him to realize, I can't stay absolutely insane forever. And then you see him begin tweaking and molding himself until finally, time skip, he's actually kind of sane. Not sane. He's a little more mature, but not mature. It's actually really interesting seeing him interact with his subordinates and know that it does not end as badly as you would think. And see him interact with the other characters. Seeing someone as messed up in more ways than just mentally as Juzo is just amazing to me. I want to sit down and just do a full character study and see all the research notes and everything that Ishida had to do in order to create this type of character, because he's just that interesting. He has a mind that I just want to take apart. And that is probably the main thing that puts him up so high on my list, is because of how complex and interesting and broken yet corrupted this character is. And I'll be the first to admit, even if Juzo happened to actually be a girl, he would probably still be this high on my list just because of how awesome he is. So that was my list. I hope you enjoyed my broken, rambling rant thing. That was actually harder to get out than I thought it would be. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, click the like button below. That would make me real happy and less embarrassed. Also, in the comment section, your top 10 favorite anime guys, gals, whatever your gender preference happens to be. Let me know in the comment section, because I find these type of videos really interesting. I actually been sitting around watching nothing but these, and so I want to know what my viewers think. What are your favorite people? Just let me know. Also, let me know what you want to see next. Like, no, seriously, what do you want to see next? I have no idea what I'm going to do next. I keep on having my Lolita Shota video, and it keeps falling flat. So, just let me know what you want to see next. It can be anything. A rant, a review, anything. Just let me know. Also, if you're new, click the subscribe button. That way, new videos get all up in your inbox. See ya, guys!
冷たい君の声が耳をかすめる吐いた息がため息がきらた街が切るビレーション魔法をかける愛裸のアイドルキラキラどうしても言えなかったおかず中に 抑えつけてた我から気づかれていたのかなそれはひどい